13th, 2025 to order. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first agenda item is teacher appreciation. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just want to amplify the thanks that I saw going around from the parents and the staff. I want to amplify that with a big thank you from the school committee. The teachers are what make this district great, and without them, we'd be lost. Thank you all so much for the work that you put in with our students, and please know that you make a difference, and we are immensely thankful. Someone forwarded this to me online, that the best way to appreciate teachers would be to tell their boss's boss's boss how great of a job they're doing. So the PTOs were kind enough to round up some students for me to provide some glowing feedback for our favorite teachers. We have 3 friends from Francis Wyman, Haven, Nessa, and Breyer. Can you come up and tell us a little bit about the teachers at Francis Wyman?
Okay.
You want to sit? We got 3 chairs.
Get prepared. My name is Breyer. I'm in 4th grade at Francis Wyman. I love Francis Wyman because all the teachers are so kind and nice. They always greet me with a smile in the morning. They teach me all I need to learn and help me grow every day and every year. I love Francis Wyman also because they know kindness and caring matters. I love the Ladybug idea. I thought it was so fun and creative. I am so happy that I am one of the people that get to go to Francis Wyman. I would like to thank Mrs. Madden for being my 4th grade teacher and being really nice.
Do you girls want to say your teacher? Just say your teacher's name.
My teacher is Mrs. Janice, and I would like to thank her because she is really nice and she would never let us be alone. She would always help us out with what we need and give us materials and stuff.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
My favorite teacher is Miss Brown because she's fun, and after MCAS we always have a party. And last time we had MCAS we played a kickball game after.
Awesome.
Good job.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
I have Kyle here from Memorial. Come on up. Are you Francis Wyman too? Sorry. Come on up, Kyle.
My name is Kyle Moffat and I'm a 3rd grader at Francis Wyman. I'm here to support my teacher, Mrs. O'Neill, and tell you about how great she is. Here's a list of 7 reasons why I think she is awesome. 1. Last week during MCAS, she only gave us reading homework. 2. She is generous. She lets us earn prizes. 3. She is thoughtful. In December, she gave my class homework passes. 4. She is good at sharing. She lets us borrow her books. 5. She's really kind to kids and nice to other teachers. 6. She makes the classroom feel welcoming. I like the way she has it decorated. 7. She is lovely. She really cares about all her students. That is how Mrs. O'Neill is amazing.
Thank you, Kyle. I have Miles from Fox Hill. And Carson, you want to come together?
I don't want to say it.
Bill, and I'm
Go.
a third grader. And my teacher, Miss Charlton, is the best because she does so many fun activities. Mr. V is one of the best because plays so many games with me. Miss Harrigan is also the best because she makes learning the recorder super fun.
Thank you.
All right, Carson wants me to say Mrs. Bennett and Miss Arabian are nice. Miss P is the best because she brings so many animals.
Thank you. I have Madeline from Pine Glen.
Hi, I'm Madeline Brooks, a third grader at Pine Glen. Thank you to all the teachers for making school fun. Thank you to Miss Doherty for being awesome. You make school fun, especially math, even though reading is not my thing. If math was pizza, you would have all the best toppings. Thank you for helping me learn, laugh, and not give up, even when math problems are harder than finding a pencil in my backpack.
Thank you. I have Lillian, also from Pine Glen.
Hi, I'm Lillian Brooks, fifth grader at Pine Glen. I just wanted to thank all the teachers for their hard work, patience, and kindness you show us every day. To Miss Corcoran, thank you for making reading an adventure, and it's definitely my favorite subject. And while math might not be the top of my list, you make it fun and not too scary. Thanks for being an awesome teacher. Such an awesome teacher.
Thank you. I have Emma from Marshall Simons.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm on blue team at MSMS in 6th grade with 4 core teachers, and I would like to thank all of them for being the best teachers they could be with their teacher bond. They're like kids when they're with their friendship, and they all teach in their unique ways, and I couldn't ask for any other teachers.
Thank you. All right, I have Amelia from the high school. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm a senior at the high school. I would like to thank Miss Potters, who I have worked with in class for 2 years and collaborated with her through NHS. I really appreciate the passion that she has for the subject, and she always makes every chemistry class interesting, even when it's very hard and we're stressed with AP season. I would also like to thank Miss McDonough, who, even though she's new, she made this year really interesting, and even though I only had a half-year class with her, I always enjoy going back to say hi. And lastly, I want to thank Ms. D'Souza, who I went on the exchange trip with. She organized a really great trip and was an amazing Spanish teacher the past couple years and has really helped me succeed as a student in class. And she's the reason that me and so many of my peers were able to succeed and also pass the syllabi literacy test.
Thank you very much. Zachary from the high school. Come on up. Also our BHS Building Committee student rep.
Hi, my name is Zach. I'm a sophomore at Burlington High School. BHS has a lot of great teachers, so I mean it's hard to pick like 2 to stand out. But I guess to celebrate, I'd like to shout out Mr. Stringer and Ms. McDonough. Both are just great teachers, and they really make like difficult subjects like Latin and history, respectively, a lot easier than they really could be. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Teacher appreciation.
Thank I have Alicia, also from the high school.
Hi, my name is Alicia. I am a senior at the high school, and there's two teachers I'd like to shout out. Ms. Georgievic, who has been my photography teacher for the past 4 years. She has seen me grow as a student, as well as creatively through all my work, and I really respect her because she's able to put together a show for us. We go on so many field trips. I really love her. And then other teachers, Ms. Horley, my Italian teacher, who I've had for 3 years. Both my parents speak Italian. I speak Italian at home, so I really love that I'm able to have my culture here at school, and I'm able to be president of the Italian club where we host different events, and she's there to guide us all. So those two teachers have been there for the past 4 years, and I really love them both. Thank you.
Thank you. Rashida, a good friend.
Hi, my name is Rashita. I'm a senior at BHS, and I'd like to shout out Mr. Pastizzi and Mr. Stringer. Mr. Pastizzi, thank you for being one of the best AP teachers I've ever had, making writing fun and the reason I did well in the AP exam. Mr. Stringer, thank you for putting up with me for 4 years. I wouldn't want to learn Latin with anyone else. You truly deserve the title of the best Latin teacher in Massachusetts and are the reason I was able to get the seal of biliteracy.
Thank you. Did I miss any more kids that were here for teacher appreciation? Just checking. All right, we have a special guest that's coming in maybe a couple more minutes. Do the kids want to take a picture with the school committee and we can send that to the principals? You want to do that? The kids want to just line up here? You want to stand? Should we go around? Okay.
Just make sure on barbecue sauce on my shirt.
Yeah, we'll come around there. Bob, you take it? Sure. Thank you.
Scooch up so we can.
Right now, smile. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Great job. Okay. Well, we can approve the warrant. Kids can say what they want. We can. Oh, I think some of them are going anyway. 6 minutes is the ETA of our special guest, so if the kids can hold out 6 more minutes, we will do 2 more pieces of business. Very exciting parts of the school committee. We have a warrant on the table.
I move we approve the warrant as submitted.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, chair votes aye, 500.
I move we approve the meeting minutes of April 29th, 2025.
Second.
Any questions?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, 500.
You want to talk about Mark Sullivan?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, I'm going to move up the other announcements. I have a couple. Dr. Conti is not with us this evening because he is attending the Massachusetts School Administrators Association Principal of the Year celebration, and that Principal of the Year is none other than our Mr. Sullivan here at Burlington High School. Yeah. Yeah, congratulations, Mr. Sullivan. That's quite an honor, and I know Dr. Conti wishes he could do both, but I'm excited for him to attend the dinner.
You can go around the board. Ask people for comments.
Oh, any comments? Do you have comments?
Go ahead. No, you go. You go first. All right. I just want to say a very hearty congratulations to Mark Sullivan. He runs a great school with a lot of his students that put their all into learning and moving through our grades and on to other schools. And I'm very happy to use Rashida as an example of how the students work hard, and she's going to Worcester Polytech. There are students who go to all kinds of amazing schools out of Burlington High School, and I think Mark Sullivan has worked very hard as a principal, and I'm very proud of him for having been chosen as the Principal of the Year. I think that's a great honor and well-deserved.
No, I was going to add to that, yeah. I'll try to turn my mic on. I just remembered my daughter graduated 6 years ago, and I remember Mark was always, always listened and always assisted and always was trying to help the students out, always pointed them in the right direction if they needed help. So I think, finally, he's recognized for all of his hard work. I know he works in a lot of sporting teams as well. So it's not just, that he is a good principal, but he also is an advocate and likes to be around children, and it really shows. And like I said, we're getting students who are getting into really good schools and schools of their choices, and that's how we want kids to graduate from high school.
I want to congratulate Mark as well. I enjoyed reading the announcement that was shared, and I was really enthused to see all of his past experience, especially as a special education teacher. I can tell that he is dedicated to his students by the smiles that I see on all the faces of the kids whenever I'm at the high school. He's very warm and welcoming to me as a new school committee member, and I've heard great things about him over the years, so it's obviously a well-deserved award, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I think everyone pretty much covered it. Yeah. Congratulations, Mark, and job well done.
Awesome. Rashida, do you want to give your student report while we're waiting?
So for the seniors, prom went really well. They're looking forward to more successful events like senior field night and senior breakfast. The juniors are doing well in their new roles, like they've taken over morning announcements, so that's going well. Sophomores and freshmen, so unfortunately semi had to be canceled due to low ticket sales.
Ooh.
But the sophomores have their Panera fundraiser coming up this week.
Panera what?
Their Panera fundraiser coming up this week, yeah.
Question.
Sure.
So what happened with, it was raining, prom kind of got wet.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people went to the high school for pictures before, so the people who went, I heard that it went fine. We were just not able to take the pictures outside at Danvers-Port like we usually do, but
yeah.
went okay, yeah.
And the Common.
Yeah, and in the Commons too.
And the Common was it was a disappointment to miss all of the students all dressed up so nicely.
The red carpet.
Yeah.
There was a red carpet here.
Where was it, at the high school?
Yeah, was it in the lobby? Yeah, I didn't go to that.
Did you ladies have anything you wanted to add about the prom?
It was good. I mean, obviously, we all wish we could be at the Common, but we had good weather last year, so we're not mad about it. We still had fun.
And you're all seniors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any word on a student rep for next year? Are you recruiting?
No, we're still looking.
All right, we're still looking.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Maybe
Is he
Lisa.
coming? Okay.
Does Lisa have any announcements?
Oh, yeah, Lisa, do you have any announcements?
Why don't we just wait?
Yeah, I have one two quick subcommittee reports, might be relevant for some of the kids here. Tomorrow is the walk, bike, and roll to school. It's being hosted at Fox Hill and at Memorial. It was rained out. Okay, it was rained out last week with the faux rain, and it didn't actually end up raining. But so tomorrow, Fox Hill and Memorial, and I think Francis Wyman has signed up for a fall one. So we're getting some more traction with the schools, and probably Pine Glen too. It was just poor timing this time around with MCAS. But look forward to that tomorrow, and and other subcommittee reports. I am the liaison to the Department of Youth and Family Services in Burlington. Christine Truhan has been the director there for quite some time, and she's retiring in June. So we thank her very, very much for her service. She's being replaced by gentleman David Lankford, who's been the supervising provider there for, I think, about the last 3 years. So we are in good hands. And again, thank you, Christine. And we look forward to working with David. You have a question?
Subcommittee report.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
So we had another meeting in front of Conservation. The wetlands has been delineated, which presents us with a substantial design opportunity. So the committee is going to meet before the end of the month, explore options. So we'll be coming back to the committee with possible adjustments or alternative courses of action on how to get the project back on schedule. What I will say is I think there's little to no chance that it will happen over the summer based on where we're at right now.
What do we have an early options, or are we completely back to the drawing board?
There's a couple early options, but with the wetland delineation, it cuts off 2 corners of the field. So we're trying to figure out how to maximize the space available or explore alternative courses of action for relocating some wetlands up to the 5,000 square feet available. Again, it's just a little early for that. There's a few early concepts, nothing we've put before the committee, so there's not a whole lot I can really speak to until we start getting those options presented and start voting.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. So does the committee, after your committee works on this stuff, do you bring it here to this committee?
Correct. Yep.
Come on in. Come on in. Are they wheeling the piano in?
They just told us.
And microphoned up and everything. Okay. One minute, all right.
Do you want to ask the question?
Oh, yeah.
You had a
Did
question?
you finish? Did you answer?
Oh, I asked Jeremy, so
Yeah, so we're going to explore options again. Really, the options on the table are adjust the design, go to the Army Corps of Engineers for an additional ruling that presents several challenges as well. And again, there's just some early concepts where we're adjusting the design. I think it's the committee's druthers that we don't adjust scope to lose the ADA access that we're after and some of the features we were looking for, and we're really just trying to explore options how to keep all that in there with the wetland challenges presented.
do you have money to cover all this?
We're going to have to look at that too and figure out what fits in scope as well. Just bad news doesn't get better with time, so I figured I'd put it out there sooner than later.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to take longer than expected.
Correct.
If we miss the summer or the spring, summer, it's a whole year, right?
Yeah.
Likely, yeah.
Okay.
Bob, I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
Well, again, there's typically the work wouldn't happen over the winter time. So, I mean, depending on if it could be completed before, let's say, October. If it can't be completed before October, there's an opportunity to do some work and then do the rest in the springtime, but ultimately it would be out to the contractor.
Okay.
And before we even start talking about contractors, we have to finalize the design and go out to bid.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's some unknowns until we actually get to that point first.
Okay. They're ready. I know. Okay, thank you. We're good? All right, come on in. Yep, come on in. You can block that TV, don't you?
Which way are they facing? I don't know either.
What's the line?
What way do we face?
You can face us, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Should I go over there? Yeah, I guess.
Good evening, thank you for having us. Hello, hello.
Hello, John.
Hi. We're crashing your meeting here. Thank you for inviting us. This is our cast of Freaky Friday the Musical here at Burlington High School. Yes, applause. And thank you for having, again, Kim Cook is our director over here. Kim is taking photos of us, thank you. And Jamie Cook is our choreographer over here. And I'm the music director, John Middleton Cox. I've just come from the orchestra pit. We have our live orchestra. We were just practicing, so we thank you for having us. And so you want to say we have Julia Schwartzman and Taylor Papagno here as our mother and daughter duo, and they're going to. You want to say a few words, explain the show a little bit? We'll do a little sample for you.
It's kind of like the Lindsay Lohan movie, if you know that. The mother and the daughter switch bodies right before the mom's wedding that she's catering all by herself.
But it's a little bit different with they go through their own little differences, and it's obviously a musical, so yeah.
Tell us the dates and times real quick.
May
Yeah, we opened this Friday.
17th.
Okay.
We have a matinee on the 18th, and then a night show on the 23rd, and a matinee on the 24th.
All right, so buy your tickets at home.
That's right. Yep. So do you want to sing a few lines from the? All right. Just one day.
Just one day, that's all I need, and I have been asking nicely. Just one day, it's not a week, it's a night to speak precisely. And the hunt is not a stunt, it's my only shot at fame, to be someone who is something, not just what's her name. If I'm in it, I can win it, if she'd only say okay. We'd be off and running, gunning for one fun and perfect day.
Ellie, dear, it's not the time. No, that apron is a crime, and that sea bass isn't fresh. It's 3 days dead.
Mom, I really need to know if I can weed now where'd she go. God, I'll never draw her focus from the bread.
It's a million little things, from the Riesling to the rings, but I got this 'cause I live to work this way.
Day, simply say,
what a day, what a day.
Okay, okay.
God the souffle.
Just one day.
Just one thing to show my skill.
Just one day.
To get my sunsets, the joy and all the glory.
To say the words
to see what I can do and say what I can say for just one day, for one stressful,
perfect,
busy,
winning,
anxious,
stellar,
high stakes,
because
do or die, crazy day.
Well, thank you again.
We want more. John, we want more.
What times?
7:30 on Friday and Saturday, and 2 o'clock on Sunday this weekend. And then next weekend, we'll be doing Friday at 7:30 and Saturday at 2 p.m. So 2 weekends.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank
Guys
you.
are amazing.
Thank you, congrats. Good luck. All right.
Here we go.
All right. Okay, I'm going to open 20 minutes of public comment for this evening. As a reminder, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey is not currently on the agenda while we wait for the investigation that is still underway and not completed. Per the advice of our counsel, we'll not be making any additional statements until this is completed. Public comment will be limited to 20 minutes and 3 minutes per person. If the room cannot maintain order, then public comment will be stopped. Go ahead.
Do we have an official date? Because we've gotten of when that investigation's gonna end.
No.
So I know you guys said May 1st we'd have some answers, and then it's pushed back again. We still don't have an official date of when this investigation's gonna be done.
We hired a third party who will complete the investigation when they're done. I believe other parties have obtained counsel, so I'm sure that's going to take longer. The May 1st date was for the initial details to be provided, which were provided via the website. Go ahead, come on up. Where's my, I won't start it.
I'll set the timer at 20 when she sits down.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Hilda Darian. I'm sure you all know me by now. I'm sure we've become a thorn in your side, and we plan on staying there. Can we please talk about funding as it pertains to the survey we've been asking for answers on for the past several weeks? It was understood that the school system funded this survey the last time I was here. Well, upon researching further, it's come to our attention that going back as far as 2018, the town in fact received money, much more money, than needed to run the survey from Leahy Clinic. Why hasn't this been brought up previously? Why do I have to read in the Daily Times Chronicle from December of 2018 that the YRBS was put into digital format due to a $50,000 grant that year from Leahy? Not only that, but we're also finding out that they gave $40,000 to start the initiative the prior year. Dr. Conti himself is quoted in that 2018 article as being particularly proud of being a fiscal agent for all 12 school systems in the Middlesex League. Hiring a consultant with that $50K and mentioning how digitizing the survey will give us results more quickly. Why was this not mentioned when we asked about how this was funded? In other words, why did you lie to us? But let's skip forward to March of 2025. Same newspaper, slightly different story. Leahy decided to gift our town with $550,000 per year over the next 3 years, $1.65 million. This money is going to various town departments like a Burlington High Wellness Day, an adjustment counselor at the high school, which is likely needed in part due to this disgusting survey being done to the middle school students years prior, and the police department for a substance abuse coordinator. Reading between the lines and connecting the dots, how are we supposed to think anything other than Leahy paid for this survey to be digitized years ago and is now gifting vast sums of money to our own town? How are we supposed to think anything other than you sold the souls and the innocence of our children for $1.65 million? This is the end result of what has happened here.
Thank you.
Next meeting, we'd like some answers, please. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room? Yep, come on up.
Greetings all. My name is Renee Andronica. I have 2 kids in BPS. My eldest is in 7th grade. I will start by saying that I am sympathetic to the parents who are upset that their opt-outs were not honored, as that is the actual issue here. Everything else is being blown completely out of proportion. Was I surprised when I learned of the contents of the survey? I suppose, but I'm more surprised at this assumption that there was some malicious intent on behalf of the district to traumatize kids. It's been pointed out that other towns have used the same survey for middle and high schoolers, so is there some grand conspiracy to traumatize kids? Not likely. Should the survey have been more carefully reviewed before it was administered? Sure, but given how much of the actual curriculum is regularly being reviewed, I can see how a non-curriculum item may have been overlooked or slipped through the cracks. I suspect we won't see that happen again anytime soon, which is great. Mistakes get made, the best we can do is learn from them and move forward because the poop is out of the goose. It's not going back in. Nobody wants the kids to be traumatized, but I think we all forget how much we learned from our peers on the playground, the bus, and in the lunchroom. My 12-year-old came home from school a few months ago before the survey was given, asking what a crude sex term meant because he heard it from an 8th grader on the bus. Was I outraged? No, because kids talk, this is how it goes. One kid learns or reads or sees something they deem interesting, and they spread the knowledge. I'm part of the generation that got their hands on their parents' Stephen King and V.C. Andrews books to read at a fairly young age, and then passed them along to our friends to read, and then talked about it, mostly laughing because we lacked the maturity to take the sex stuff seriously. My 12-year-old found the survey hilarious for similar reasons. Of course, we want to protect our kids, but it's naive to think that kids don't hear a peep about sex from anyone other than their parents until they are adults, especially when so many kids have smartphones without decent parental controls configured. On the internet, we're all potentially a half dozen clicks away from a beheading video or pornography, and given how the internet over-delivers, kids reading the technical definitions of a few sex acts is far from the worst information they could stumble across. I keep hearing people say that school is only for teaching math, reading, writing, science, and history, which is preposterous. Sure, there are core subjects, but kids go to school to gain social skills, critical thinking skills, to foster intellectual growth, to learn how to collaborate with others and prepare them for the real world. There's a population of students that receive services at school to help them succeed. There are electives to exercise the other parts of the brain and to figure out what creative outlets our kids may be drawn towards. Any of us who have had a job know that it takes more than knowledge of a subject to get and keep a job. It also takes soft skills to be successful. Learning those skills starts early in life and are learned in part at school, starting in preschool and kindergarten. School is about so much more than learning 4 subjects. It should also be pointed out that at middle school level, kids don't have history, they have social studies, which is rather broad and covers sociology, history, government, civics, geography, current events, etc. Regardless of that distinction, the kids are taught history in hopes of them not repeating it because history is filled with atrocities. Do we as parents become enraged because kids are learning about violent acts in history? No, generally not, but the moment sex gets mentioned, people lose their minds. It's okay for kids to learn that Columbus and his crew murdered natives, spread disease to them, and enslaved them, but if you mention that he and his men raped a bunch of natives, people become angry, even though all of those things are true. We need to stop with this knee-jerk outrage because showing up with pitchforks is not constructive and it speaks to a lack of intent to discuss things in good faith. We need to stop assuming the worst of people so we can work together to support the children of Burlington.
Thank you.
That's all.
My name is William Manka. I'm a 7th grader at Marshall Simons Middle School. To start, I want to talk about something discussed at the last meeting after public comment was over, which was the potential of adding a relationships unit in the health class. I think that you guys mentioned that there was going to be opt-outs sent to the parents, and I think because so many of the parents were outraged at the fact that there was a sensitive topic that had an opt-out, I think this would be a great opportunity to phase in the opt-in system. Next, I want to talk about that Eric Condi's interests fundamentally contradict the best interests of students and the taxpayers of Burlington. He has shown time and time again that he is not fit for any position of power in the schools. For example, he misused school resources and bank accounts to make changes to his car and move farm equipment to Virginia. Our school budget is going up, but our curriculum is going down at an alarmingly fast rate. In a curricular math activity that I go to outside of MSMS, we were learning about normal 7th grade math topics like polynomials, while in MSMS, we were learning stuff that should have been taught in elementary, like the area of two-dimensional shapes. We should redirect the funding in the budget to eliminate the unnecessary items and focus more on the integral parts that have more to do with academics so that our students can thrive. Finally, I would like to suggest removing building block from the Marshall Simons Middle School and replace it with something strictly academic, like study hall or increasing class time, as a lot of the stuff in building block takes away from academic time and is useless for everyone. I'm going to use the next bit of my time to just talk about what that other lady was saying. Even though students were given this survey and maybe they already knew about it, it's still not right to opt out kids and then not get opted out. And the school was making it seem like not a big deal, when in reality, some of the stuff there really did affect the student population. Thank you.
Yeah, hang on one second. Come on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ted Manka. I will do my best to stay off of the survey as much as possible. Last time I was here, I offered a bit of a challenge to the school committee, which was to see what the parents wanted in and what they want out of their classrooms. We heard from some other folks that, want some things in. We've heard from a lot of people that want things out. My challenge still stands to have that conversation with the parents about what belongs in and what belongs out. I did hear one of the members last time after public comment kind of talk about, hey, there are some fundamental things that need to be in and are required by the state. I think it'd be a great topic of conversation to talk about what actually has to be in and then start to build up from what the community actually wants. As a reminder, we're 31st in teacher pay, but 66th in exceeding in math, 150th in exceeding in ELA, and 222nd in exceeding in science. I did have an opportunity to go through the budget, and I found some things that were fairly eye-opening. $134,000 in conferences, $30,000 just labeled consulting services for the superintendent category, $8,500 for book club for teachers. The translation services went up by 233% in 1 year, from $36,000 to $120,000. In-staff training ballooned from $530,000 to $824,000 in 1 year. Another example is the staff ad. So one that we have that is non-academic but is administrative is the Associate Principal of Curriculum Instruction and Special Programs at BHS. Nothing about this is academic, and it's talking about having a person to address new concerns in the high school for a considerable amount of money, $123,000 per year for this new administrative staff ad. In addition to that, there is some other items on the budget that other parents may consider to be controversial, such as $14,700 for DEI training, stipends for the race and sexuality-based clubs, $40,000 for SEL software and training, and a new health teacher for $73,000 to teach healthy relationships for pre-K all the way up to 5, and sexual health for 3rd graders to 5th graders. We did mention before about teacher appreciation. I would love to see a lot of this money going to teachers, going to helping them push the ball forward to make sure that we're rising in the ranks. Some of these numbers I'm a little embarrassed by. And I challenged the committee to start moving things forward. The other thing, sorry, I know I'm probably almost out of time. I'll be quick. I did find out that you guys only get $1,000 per year in stipend, which blows my mind for all of the headache that you have to put up with. Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is Samantha Hurley, and as we wrap up Teacher Appreciation Week, I want to take a minute to thank our teachers. It's a common misconception that teachers are only meant to teach the basics, reading, math, science, and history. But the reality is they do so much more. You teach our children to be kind, to persevere, to negotiate, and much more. You make them feel safe no matter of their race, religion, or gender. No matter if they are members of a sports team, the chorus, the Spectrum Club, or the robotics club. You encourage them when things are hard and help them find their own voices. You are true superheroes, and my children are better people because of their experience in Burlington Public Schools. And I am eternally grateful. Thank you.
I have no hands online, no one left in the room. Thank you all. All right. Do I have any other subcommittee reports?
Ways and Means, we're done with that.
Is Ways and Means online?
No.
We still have a night to go, maybe two. Our budget was approved
Yeah,
last night, so thank you, town meeting.
Might want to talk about withdrawing the,
Oh, sure.
that one.
We did meet, the days are running yesterday, before town meeting. We voted to withdraw, I don't know the number now,
27.
4-27 article from town meeting, which is the bathrooms at Marshall Simons. Basically because the existing work there is so uncertain at this moment in time that we just discussed. And we want to make sure that we are slotting in the bathrooms where they will fit and within the scope of other projects with the rec. So we withdrew that. I think the backfield is going to be more of the bigger challenge, and then we'll figure out how to slot in the bathroom project. We'll probably submit a request for design money to go hand in hand while they're working on the backfield. So it shouldn't substantially delay that project. We're just going to withdraw it in good faith so that we're not putting the cart before the horse on that. I don't have Ways and Means. So I think we're in good shape there. I had the other announcement, we already talked about Mark Sullivan. Lisa, did you have any other announcements?
It will be covered in my
okay,
report.
great. Jeremy.
Just want to congratulate the drone team for winning at states this week. They
Great.
showed pretty well, and they'll be competing in nationals.
Awesome. Right. We have multiple grant acceptance requests.
Yes, through the chair, I make a recommendation that the school committee accept the 3 grants requested as listed, which is the Massachusetts Technology Collaborative amount, the DESE one for the amount, and then the other one, which is also another DESE grant.
Awesome. Do I have any motions?
Yeah. I move that we accept the Massachusetts Technology Collaborative grant in the amount of $49,650.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, 5-0.
And just so that everyone knows, that grant will be used to expand the cybersecurity component of the FLIP internship. Grant will also provide resources to obtain industry certifications. The next one, I moved that we accept the DESE grant, FC127G, in the amount of $5,000. And it's funding to support food literacy under CHPE implementation plan.
I heard a second. Any questions?
Yeah, is this money contingent on any performance metrics for the CHPE implementation?
I don't think so. I can get the language for the grant and send it to you, though.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, 4-0-1.
And I move that we accept the DESI FC 207 grant in the amount of $1,500. The overview is targeted grant for Shannon Janovitz participating in the Inspired Fellowship. Funds are designated to support the fellows' time spent developing presentations for inspired events.
Second.
Any questions?
What is the inspired events? Can anyone give more information about that?
Lisa, do you know?
It's a fellowship given to selected, very few. You have to apply for it, and it allows you to do a little bit more research and to work with other colleagues. It's quite an honor to receive it, and you meet with other colleagues of. Not everyone gets it. You have to. I had to write a letter of recommendation of why Shannon Janovitz is one of the best instructors, and you continue to learn and grow. It's an honor.
Good.
If I can get a clarifying question. So I think the question is, what specific topic does this cover, or what curricular activity is this supporting?
Well, Shannon's role is.
She's an instructional leader.
Yes.
So her research will be on how to improve instruction.
Instruction in what? Academics?
Yes, in academics.
Order, please. No questions from the audience. No questions?
No further questions. Thank you, Dr. Chen.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, 4-1.
Okay.
Declaration of surplus science books.
Yes, through the chair, I make a motion, please, that it's recommended that the committee vote to deem the titled science book listed as surplus property. And as you can see through this list, many of these titles, they need to be disposed because they are no longer of use. Most of these books have been 20+ more years old, and they haven't been in use for at least 15 or more years.
You look old. I move that we approve the declaration of surplus science books as listed in the agenda.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, 5-0.
And through the chair, I make a recommendation that this committee approves the stipends for Unit A in Unified Bowling, Category C as requested. I've had the opportunity to attend some of these events, and both Dr. Bonnie Nichols and also Sean Hart do a wonderful job, and I've been promised next year that we're going to get uniforms so we can outshine Lexington, who already had uniforms at one time at the bowling alley.
I'll move that we approve the current rates in the contract for this category as follows: $7,423 as the head coach and $5,677 as the assistant.
Second.
And as a comment,
Yeah.
this is a very special program for children with special needs. They have a lot of fun, and it's really a very happy program. Kids love it, enjoy it, it's good for them, and we support it.
And through the chair, I just want to add, it's an extension of what we have with Unified Basketball, and I'm very proud of our students, especially at BHS, because these are students who volunteer to work with our other students who, are very excited about basketball. And I hear that we have a winning team. It's like we beat Lexington again, too, so it must be nice. All right.
We have a second.
Yeah.
A second, yep.
You good? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it's 5-0. All right. Literacy 2025.
I'm going to switch gears.
This one?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna search.
I'm really excited to report where we are with regard to the update on our K through 5 English update. We just wanted to provide folks with where we are in this process. Next, please. First of all, I want to say, next slide, please. I want to say thank you to all these members of the Literacy Leadership Task Force members that consisted of all folks from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. You see members here of the administrative team, coaches, as well as teachers, a huge representation of teachers who helped to narrow down to the 2 finalists finally for the adoption of the Amplify CKLA curriculum. A lot of these members on one of our final times meeting together has started what's called the implementation plan, because when you are adopting a literacy of this magnitude, and it's going to be put in next year for all K through 5 students, which is going into all grade 6, you need to start thinking about what this implementation is going to look like now. Next, please. That being said, one of the things that we started with is identifying K through 12 about the importance of what curriculum is and why is literacy so important. And this task force helped to come up with 3 core beliefs that ground us in the work that we're going to be doing, that every BPS student has the right to learn to read. Every BPS student deserves to learn to read, and every BPS student wants to learn to read. Next, please. Therefore, the goals of the implementation team is really to take a look, and we have created a posting for this. It's gone on for about 1 month. We will work with the elementary principals on selecting members of this implementation team. We should have about 32 folks. Each person will be a representation of each of the grade levels from each of the 4 elementary schools, including our English learner teachers, including our special education teachers, our reading specialists, instructional coaches, and administrators. And we're going to be getting together to create what's called a professional learning communities, so that we go through the pacing guide together, we create it together, and so that there's greater consistency in how we implement the rollout of our first year of Amplify CKLA. This particular team will work with the superintendent of teaching and learning, the K through 8 literacy coach, our literacy consultant, in the planning of implementation and rollout of Amplify CKLA in grades K through 5. And the reason why this is important, that you need to start thinking about this and the planning of it, is because in order for this to be successful, you've got to anticipate what some of the hiccups might be and the amount of hours that you need to prep, so that when teachers get this curriculum, they feel supported and they know how best to roll it out. And also, in building this team, we hope to increase the teacher leadership capacity, as these teacher leaders will be leading on the early releases, the professional learnings for our elementary teachers through all grade 6 levels. And again, really want to thank the school committee for letting us have a pilot for the 8 early release days for next year to ensure the success of the implementation team and the professional learning they'll need to go on. Next, please. That being said, as we said, that we've begun the posting, the selection will occur in May, and we will begin with this team of doing professional learning for 2 days during the summer. Actually, 2 days during the summer, and then the 3rd day we'll be working on creating a pacing guide that will be for half of the year. That means that we'll get together in the different grade levels, start looking through the materials, and developing a pacing guide so that we'll know what units that we want to start attacking, and then start taking a look at it month per month. Next, please. So this is what it maps out to. The full day with this team is when we're going to begin the launch. We're going to have the materials, look through them, kind of like have a cursory understanding of what are all the components of CKLA when it comes to the teacher handbooks, the students as well, the student materials as well too, and also at the same time of what is on digitally. And then we're going to have a half day of enhancing the curriculum, in which we're going to start to plan out some of the professional learning. And then we're going to establish the norms, the success criteria, which means that these are going to be the ways we measure not only how well we do with implementation, these are going to be our checkpoints, and then we're going to take a look at our early release days and plan that out. And then on the 27th, we'll have a full day of being broken down in groups, and we hope to have some special education teachers connected and some L teachers connected to certain grade levels, so to form co-teaching models, and we're going to be developing the pacing guides then. Next, please. And so every Monday, we've already planned this out before the early release days, we will be meeting for an hour with this particular team to go over with the teacher leaders, what is the professional development doing? We're going to run through it. We're going to go through it. We're going to anticipate certain questions. And then on our early release days, we're going to be, each of these teachers with the reading specialist are going to be rolling out like a unit 1. And then you take a next step, you work on it, see how it's done, and then you meet up again. You talk about okay, what parts of it did you have a little bit difficulty in? What parts of it did the students really like? You talk about the areas that we need to grow on, and then you also look forward. So every month we're looking at ways that we become better from the past unit, and then we're going on to the next unit. And then we hope to develop a cycle in which we are going to act and plan on it, do and study on it. And along part of this team, we're going to also be making some implementation goals. And then I will be sharing that with you to let you know through the matrices of how we've done in meeting our implementation goals. And we'll continue to keep track of how our students are doing on DIBELS and as well as iReady. Next, please. And then the upcoming literacy PD is, part of this is also thinking, okay, you have planned for a small group of 32 leaders, teacher leaders, and administrators who have learned the materials. Then how is this going to look like for all of the teachers when it comes through K through 5, including all of your special education and all your L teachers who are involved in all of this? We're going to have a full day of the CKL launch for all elementary staff. Our core team, our implementation team will have gone through that launch, and so they'll be there assisting all of the teachers as well too. And then on our October 20th, in which we're going to have a half day in which that particular team is going to be doing some enhancing work. And then we're also going to be working with the elementary staff on taking a look at some of the other curriculums coming up in the upcoming months. Next, please. And this is just to give you, thank you so much. You're on top of it with the clicks. Thank you. Even without clicking, thank you. Just to let you know what's coming up down the line, is very excited about that. Letters preschool. We're going to start our literacy training all the way in preschool. This is where it's so important. We have worked together with Woburn Preschool and Lexington Preschool, so we're going to be developing a cohort and learning all together. I think there's always strength in numbers, and to learn what other great preschool programs are doing, to share that knowledge and to come together. I can tell you Deb Clark and a lot of the preschool teachers are very excited. I'm very excited for them because a lot of the letters training, I've started to take a look at it as it's a training in which you learn the materials. After you learn the materials, you actually have to apply them in the classroom. And then you come back, you study what you've learned, and you learn a new set of learning. So this is about many, many hours for our staff. It's going to be good stuff. We're also going to be launching for 40 of our teachers who've signed up. Again, some more professional development on the science of reading. We're going to be really focusing on our special education teachers and also our English language learner teachers as well too. And also any other teacher who would also like to be a part of this. But believe it or not, we already have more than 40 people who are interested in signing up. You have to have 40 to run this cohort. A cohort like this, just to let you know, it's 80 plus hours. And so basically the way we've done it is that if we're going to pay for this for you, it means that you're going to do this and you're going to attend to all the online sessions that have to be done. And in addition to that, you'll have to meet with Dr. Bonnie Nichols for 1.5 hours a month to talk about with your other colleagues who've signed up what you've learned and how are you using what you've learned in the classroom. We're going to continue on piloting. As I said, we have our ELA programs in the middle school. We're looking at Wit and Wisdom, and we're looking at L. Both of these have been highly qualified. They've been rated by Ed Reports and also by Curate, because the goal is for 26, 27 for us to have also 6, 7, and 8 curriculum. We couldn't do it all at once because it would be too much for the teachers. We're also going to continue our landmark writing that we have been doing, that I've heard with our language-based programs that has been extremely helpful. They've done a lot of focus with writing. And again, we're going to continue working. So we've done it all the way from fifth grade this year all the way up to the high school. Next year, we may be looking at 4th grade. We're thinking about possibly, if possibly, to do it 3rd grade. We're seeing whether or not if the CKL implementation is too much, but we've already have it in the works. And from everything I've seen, I was very excited about this. I couldn't go. I had to attend to something, but I know at CPAC, for instance, 2 of our teachers shared the professional development that they learned with the parents, and the parents found it extremely helpful of the things that they've learned when it comes to sentence structure and helping students write. I'm very excited about this because this is going to be really great for our staff as we continue to make things vertically aligned and as folks receive the training that they need. I think this will really help us really take a hard look, especially because of the question it asked about dyslexia, a lot of the training, what are we learning about that? And I think if we can get our hit rate much closer, that's going to be also another sign that this professional development has worked. Just excited about where we're headed, and I think the teachers are too. So we thank you for your support. Are there any questions? I just wanted folks to know, I sent you a literacy report. That report was by Dr. Gail Levitt of all the activities. I just wanted to give you a quick follow-up about where we're headed next in the implementation team.
So Lisa, I have a question, and I'm not sure that it's fair to ask you to answer it right now.
Yes, ma'am.
So you might want to answer it later.
Yes, ma'am.
But what I'm curious about is if you have an example of, let's say, a student who is not on an ed plan.
Yes, ma'am.
But has difficulty learning, reading. Maybe they tend to be somewhat dyslexic or, has a difficult time, more difficult than, say, the typical peer.
Yep.
I'm just curious about how this program differs from what we have been using so that it makes it easier for those children to learn. And I don't expect you to answer that right now, but I would like at some point to know how the way this program is built, that it can help the kids that have more difficulty learning to read.
I can partially answer that for you because when we were doing the research on all our programs, we wanted to make sure that this program was all-encompassing, that it had not only some Tier 3 interventions in it already built in, and also Tier 3, and like Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions all built in, but it also had, I think, also for our students who are advanced and reading above, because oftentimes, and sometimes we have a tendency to always want to catch up kids, but we also have to remember there's a continuum of children, right? Some children learn faster to read, and they need more. They need a bit more. I can say this in the site visits that I've done, and these are site visits with other teachers. These are site visits also with special education teachers and also with English language learner teachers. I think what blew them away is that when we went to Rentham, when we went to a lot of the other places that looked comparable to us, is that you couldn't see who was the special education teacher, number one, and who was the other teacher. The model was so strong. And then we also saw that with some English language learners as well, too, when it came to that. Now, it doesn't answer the specific questions that you're looking, but I think what it does is, at least at the top level, it provides a consistent curriculum. I'm not saying that we weren't consistent across the board, but I think that by looking at this together, by studying it a bit more, I think you're going to have more of a common language. but I know what you're asking, Mrs. Monaco. I will get you more of the specifics. But I think that, along with the DIBELS 8 training that we've had intensively this year that we're going to continue on with our new teachers, I think that alone, I think our training also with iReady, I think our science of reading training, I think also with our landmark training, I know that we're going to be putting in some Orton Gillingham training as well too. I think all of that is a whole package is what I'm saying. So I think you have to do the training and also what we're going to be learning from this curriculum. But I will get you the more specifics. But it did have a very strong Tier 2, Tier 3. It also had an enhancement package with it as well too.
One more. So are teachers, some teachers still getting trained in specific classes like Orton Gillingham, Wilson, Lindamood?
Yeah, I do know that Orton Gillingham will continue for our special education teachers next year. And I also know that a lot of the popularity with letters is that a lot of like what was packaged in the science of reading has been in letters. Now, we took a look at the difference between letters and Orton Gillingham. We wanted to look at which one was both. We decided that we wanted to go with letters, and what we liked about letters was what we heard about it from other districts who have used letters as well too, that what they liked of it is it contained the similar components, but what they liked about it was the component that you would have to study with a group and that you would actually have to go out there and practice what you learn and then come back and do it. And I think that that practice piece is going to be very helpful for our teachers.
Okay, thanks.
No, I'm very excited just to see where this is all going to go. I think we've got really, really strong foundations. And I know that it's a pilot, and we're very grateful for it. So we're going to give you lots of data points because you guys, it's expensive, so everyone deserves to know the progress we're making. It's important.
Through the chair, I'm very excited to hear about the letters training. I have friends that are very excited to take the training as well.
Oh, you're taking with us?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I have friends that teach in Lexington that are taking it, and they're excited to be taking it. So I am also excited to hear that this curriculum, covers the spectrum of readers. We have our hyperlexic readers, our whole word readers, kids who are reading at grade level, and then we have students who are struggling with dyslexia and single or double deficit dyslexia. So I like that this program can help all students grow, and I think that's very important that we're challenging every reader. I want to just give a kudos to Bonnie Nichols and her work as well, and yours. I think it's great that you guys are going to be reviewing, what teachers have learned, how the implementation is going, how they're working through on a weekly, monthly basis. I think it'll be great to have her perspective from a coaching standpoint to, fill in any pieces that might not be solid or might not feel just right in between the PD that you guys are putting together through the early release days. And I also wanted to say that I was really interested in the landmark writing pilot. I had heard a lot of good things from the CPAC parents. They shared positive reviews. One of my students is doing the landmark writing, and I'm seeing a benefit from that. The popcorn sentences is what I'm hearing. So I think that's great. I think we should continue to expand that, as well as our co-top model to 3rd and 4th grade. I think that's going to be important for our students. Thank you.
No, thank you. And just to piggyback, I do want to thank Dr. Bonnie Nichols. She has set up a lot of site visits. Just so that you know, we just recently visited Bedford. I think we're visiting all these places because we want to learn from them, like, what it looks like your first year when you first implement it, and then your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year. Bedford had implemented just this year in all K through 5. And so Dr. Nichols took both our English language learner, Carrie Lamprey, on that visit, and also took one of the assistant principals on that visit, and also 2 of our digital learning coaches, because one of the things that we're going to also be doing is we're starting to build a website that it hasn't been launched yet, but number one, a teacher website, and then more so like a parent website, because I'm sure that with this, parents are going to want to know, like, oh, how can I help my child, right? And so I think it was very helpful to bring Erin Guanci, I want to thank her too, and Lauren Angelo on to this, because there is a digital component to this. And so we just want to make sure that, like, everyone, because this is very exciting for all of us, that we also bring parents in on this curriculum and also share with them how they can help their kids, at home as well, too.
And through the chair, I think that's really important that parents have the materials.
Yeah, they need to, and what we also plan to do, because of just in light of our times right now, what we're also going to do is, like, every new unit, and I want to make sure that I am saying this publicly, like every new unit, we're going to have a parent letter that goes out, K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to say, hey, by the way, this is the unit and these are the topics that we're studying. If you have any questions, let us know. We've previewed it, everything like that, but this is what so-and-so is going to be studying. So if you have any questions, let us know. Here it is, blah, 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 and just move forward.
I think that's great. I'm sorry, through the chair. I know Foundations had a component of that, and I think carrying that past third grade will be very helpful for families as well. So thank you.
Welcome.
No, through the chair. Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm glad to hear that something's going to be rolled out to the parents as well, because it's super important that parents can support the program, as well as and support what the teachers are presenting to the students. Because as we know, kids come home, and if parents don't know what whatever the new technique is, or what's being taught, it's very difficult to support that without that knowledge. So I'm really happy. It was my question. You actually answered the question before I asked it. So thank you.
No, it's really important. We appreciate and we understand that this is a lot of money that people are investing, and we're taking it very seriously. And then we want it to be successful, because it, everything has to be vertically aligned.
Thank you. You gonna stay there for math?
Yes, I'm going to stay here for math. I'm in this role. All right, the math curriculum update. We've been doing a lot of work with math, and I want to share with you where we have been with math. So, all right, next. So first of all, I really want to thank all these folks who have stayed on our Algebra 1 task force. And again, these are people who went above and beyond and to really take a look at, and I call it really the Algebra 1 task force, because we really believe because Algebra 1 is so important, we want to make sure that all students have the opportunity to take Algebra 1 from us, and not necessarily through tutoring or through Russian school or anything like that. And so we really started to focus on Algebra 1, and I really wanted to thank both the middle school folks. We have even the director of BECC coming in and working with us. So again, this whole process is about looking at curriculum vertically, because every grade matters. So we really want to thank the time that these people put in and spent in analyzing the data and looking at the data and creating the pathways. We first always began, because grounded in this work, you have to say, why is it important? What is it that we believe in? Because these have got to be our grounding core values, and so this is how we assess whether or not we're moving in the right way. And so one of the things that we talked about is the lens of equity, that you need to ensure that there's accessibility for all learners, and you need to provide multiple entry points. So it's not tracks, but more so pathways. So just because I may be here in third grade doesn't mean that, because some people it takes more time, doesn't mean that I can't take calculus when I am a senior. So we want to make sure that there are multiple entry points for kids. Next. So one of the things when we had the literacy audit, and this has been posted, everything that I'm sharing with you has been posted on the website to be made very transparent to the public and the community, so you know what step is happening each way. The audit is even on there. But we received 10 recommendations, and as you can see, the 2 that are highlighted were the ones that we were working on this particular year. We're looking at the vertical alignment, and we're looking at what are the transition points between pre-K through K, between 5 and 6, and 8 through 9. So one of the things that we looked out, next slide, no, the right slide, is that one of the things that grounded in any type of curriculum is the curriculum by McTighe and Wiggins that talks about understanding by design. And so Massachusetts has all the standards that they are telling us that these are the standards that are most important. Well, how do these standards vertically align? What are the main power standards that each child must be able to? It doesn't matter who you are, what level you are. These are the standards that you must master if you are to move on to the next grade. So we began that work of identifying that, and that's in Tier 1 math. Tier 1 math is the curriculum for every single child. It doesn't matter if you're an L child, doesn't matter if you are an English language if English is not your first language, it doesn't matter whether or not if you receive, interventions, if you're on a special education plan, every child deserves high quality Tier 1 math instruction. From that, we came with, next please, the belief that, can you go prior to that? Yeah. Next please. Next. These are out of order. No, that's too fast. Go back. We're on the 10 recommendations. Nope. Let me give you the PowerPoint, okay? I want to see why. Just excuse me for 1 minute, because this is not, it should have gone there and then there. We're on slides. You have slide 6. Is that okay? All right, thank you. I apologize for that technical difficulty. All right, so when we have cohesion, we create seamless transitions for learners from grade to grade, and that's why the importance of having pathways as opposed to tracks. Next. So one of the things that we started to talk about is we began to define and group our sequences, and that's by identifying what the power standards are. So these are the most important standards that must be taught in math. And then what are our supporting and remaining standards? And we began to create year-at-a-glance document, scope, and sequence. Next, please. And throughout the summertime, we worked with 4 high school educators, 3 middle school educators, 10 elementary educators, and a group of staff to create 40+ understanding by design units. Next, please. And then we started to look at how UBD worked, and we called it a test kitchen, and we showcased this, and we worked on how does this look like when it comes to units. And when I then interviewed the teachers and worked with them, what they said is, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of front loading and writing these types of units, but you know what? It really helps me understand what math is all about. And even though it was a lot of work in the beginning, I think they found value in it. I think they had a deeper understanding of what they were teaching. So everyone that I've talked to in this particular group had a very great experience. Next, please. So, go click. Thank you.
Going through it.
And then click, yep. And then click. And then click. All right, thank you. So at this point in time, we're creating a year-at-a-glance documents for pre-K through 12, and that is what we're proposing in year 2, and that is our plan of action, and that's where we're going to be headed. All right, next. So as you can see, one of the works that we started to do was developing the pathways for Algebra 1 in grades 5 through 10. Next, please. And one of the deep analysis of what in our equity audit that came out, and also in our Algebra 1 audit that came out, is that we're not fulfilling our math curriculum belief statements for learners with disabilities, Black and Hispanic learners, and learners who are economically disadvantaged. And we are partially fulfilling some of our math curriculum standards for learners based on genders, but there's still disparities between girls and boys that we still need to investigate. So those are our areas that we're continuing to look at. Next, please. And so again, all the courses that we are trying to create are pathways, and again, not tracks. Next, please. Next. Next. Thank you. So what are pathways? Pathways, they offer flexibility, responsiveness, and multiple opportunities to adjust directions and speed. Next slide, please. All right, so this is our success criteria. This is how we know we've mastered what we've mastered. Our goal is to create equitable pathways so that every student has access to Algebra 1 starting at BPS in the middle or high school, and every student has completed Algebra 1 by the end of 10th grade. And in developing our pathways, what we decided that were key things is that, I think this is one of them, that every math standard needs to be taught in BPS in the math courses within the school years. And hence, that's the reason why it's very important to define what the power standards, supporting standards, and remaining standards are, so that teachers have enough time to go deep. Because our goal is not to rely on Russian school, summer school, or even weekend school. And every course is for every learner. Our goal is not to create a collab class. It's supposed to be more inclusion and nor an L class. And we need to take a look at this. All right, next please. So the things that are coming up, and all the parents should have received by last week, they should have received that we put in for next year two new courses. And this is actually based on, just so that you know, it's based on taking a look at how students are doing. So there's going to be a regular grade 7 math class, and then a condensed grade 7 and math, 7th and 8th grade math class, which means that it's going to address all of the math standards for grades 7 and 8 in 1 year. It's going to focus on the intersections among grade 7th and 8th math standards, as well as unique aspects for each. And it will move at a fast pace. It's going to cover proportional relationships, rational, irrational numbers, linear equations, functions, and 2D and 3D geometry. Next year for 8th grade, it will be called an integrated grade 8 and Algebra 1 math. And this is going to be teaching all of the math standards for grade 8 and Algebra 1 in one school year. It is not going to miss any of these standards. Let me repeat, it's going to teach all of them, so we've started to map this out. It's going to focus specifically on the graphing and solving for equations and inequalities, exponents and exponential functions, analyzing slope and rate of change, and applying these concepts to real-world situations. And then the following year, because we couldn't just jump to an Algebra 1 course that's based on high school. So it's an Algebra 1, it's a high school course, but an Algebra 1 in the middle school. You still had, because it wouldn't have been fair for our 7th grade students going into 8th grade, because they wouldn't have had the 8th grade standards in order to do Algebra 1, and hence we needed to do an integrated grade 8 plus Algebra 1 math. The following year, in 2026 and 2027, we will be offering an Algebra 1 course. So for those students who are advanced and beyond, they can take an Algebra 1 course in grade 8. Next, please. So when you start taking a look at these pathways, what these pathways show is that you're going to enter into grade 6. You're going to enter into grade 7. Then you have a choice based on how you do from grade 6 to either take an integrated grade 8 plus Algebra 1 or a condensed 7th and 8th grade class. From there, you can either choose, okay, let's say you take the condensed 7th and 8th grade class, but you need to have a little bit more practice in grade 8. You could either decide to take grade 8, or you could move on to the integrated grade 8 plus Algebra 1 class. Next, please.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Lisa, is there an integrated 7-8 class that you're putting in?
Yes, that's called the condensed. We called it condensed.
For this coming fall?
Yes.
Will that still exist the year after?
Yes.
Okay, so then if a student takes that particular class, then they can move into algebra, straight algebra in the 8th grade?
Yes, they can.
Or they can take
the integrated grade 8 plus Algebra 1.
Okay.
So they have a choice.
Got it.
Because sometimes you might, what we wanted to build is we wanted to build a way in which students could choose to either slow down, you know? Sometimes you're like, oh gosh, this was easy to begin with, but it's becoming too hard, right? But I don't want to be behind. All these pathways will still allow you to get to calculus in the end by your senior year without doubling up. So let me say this again, without doubling up, because one of the things we learned when we were starting to do this analysis is we learned that some students were doubling up, right? And we really wanted to stop that because we want them, okay, if you love math, double up by all means, right?
Right.
But if you're afraid that you're not going to get to calculus in time and you need to double up, we don't want you to miss the opportunity of an elective because there are only so many places in your,
Right, I was just concerned, listening, I missed the part where.
No, I'm sorry.
7, 8 would stay in place.
Yes.
Not just next year, but the year after and after that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can
no,
you-
I think it's great.
Can you go next, please? Because, yes, this is. This,
Sorry, Lisa, to interrupt. I have a question that.
no, and then you know what, later on, because I know I have a lot, but later on, I want you to ask your question. Because you guys asked me to build it all the way to grade 12, and I will explain that. I'll take the time to explain all the different pathways.
Okay,
But yes,
I'll hold my question then.
are you sure then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you sure? Okay.
You may answer it, so I'll
All
hold
right.
it.
So one of the things that we're going to start to do when we're looking at the condensed grade 7th and 8th grade math, and one of the things that we do, and again, I really want to thank Dr. Kateri Thunder for our analysis on this, and also all the people who worked, because we spent a lot of time analyzing scores, all right? And we also took a look at not only how the kids did on their iReady in the middle of the year, but we also took a look at, we looked at how they did in their 3rd, 4th, 5th grade MCAS scores and what their grades are now, all right? And what we found, because one of the questions is like, oh my God, if we create this really advanced class, are we gonna have enough students, or is it only gonna be for a small group of students? We found out, interestingly enough, is that we already have 33 6th graders who have met the end of the year criteria. In January, we had 33 6th graders who met the end of the criteria. We're looking at 32 additional 6th graders who have the potential to meet the end of year criteria based on their middle of the year score. So they're going to take a final iReady, right? So when we add that up, that's 65 students, right? 65 students is 3 class levels, right? 3 class levels is the same as they have now for 3 7th grade advanced levels. So what we're finding out is sometimes the math that we're offering at the middle school is not challenging some of our students enough. So can our students handle it, this group of students? Absolutely, and this is based on their MCAS scores for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. This is based on their grades that they're getting right now, and this is also based on their iReady assessment, which is both criterion referenced and norm referenced. And so we have 33 that we know that we know, because I don't think people are gonna go back. Most people don't go back. Some people do, but most keep on progressing. So if you have 33 6th graders in January who have already met the end of the year, to me that's saying they're a little bored, right? So there, no matter what, even if we were to cut it off today, we have 33 in our 6th grade class that can take this condensed 7th and 8th grade class. That's enough for 2 classes, but we have 32 that we're waiting. So there was some fear, I know, for some of the math teachers who weren't at the middle school, who weren't part of this, right? But they weren't part of our conversations when we analyzed and dig the data, because we didn't want to create pathways that no one could get into. The point would be moot point. So again, these are the criteria that the teachers are using. It's posted. This is going to be on the website, so parents can take a look at this. But this is what the teachers are using. They're going to be using 4 multiple points of data. We changed it from 2 to 4. They're going to be looking at the iReady score. They're going to be looking at their past MCAS score. They're going to be looking at teacher recommendation, and they're going to be looking at their grades, but in particular their test grades. That's going to help make the recommendation of whether or not these kids should be. So that is for the condensed grade 7 and 8th. This is really exciting. Next please. For our integrated grade 8 math plus algebra 1, I was just blown away. We already had 55 7th graders who at the end in January already had met the end of the year criteria. So we already have 55. We have 31 now, additional 7th graders who have the potential to meet end of year criteria. So if we were to predict, that's going to be about 86 kids already for your 3 advanced classes, right? That's more, if you have about 20 or 22 in each class, right? 20, that's 60. You may have to run another additional one. So the question becomes, people were fearful, like, oh my gosh, if you've run advanced class, you're not going to have anyone. No, that's quite the opposite. So I just really want to applaud that these kids didn't get here just overnight on test scores, on MCAS scores, they had to get there through multiple points. So they had to get there through the hard work, I want to say, of our teachers. So this is just another data point, but it's just really fun to see and to look at how amazing our kids are doing. It just made me very happy. All right.
Dr. Chen, are we sending these are being published to like the parents, these criteria?
These criteria this is in my handout, but one of the things that we've already said to the parents is that it's going to be based on these criteria.
I think these are very clear. I like this.
Yeah, this is, I'm just giving you the criteria, but it's going to be posted on the website, right? There's no ands, we're not, this is what we've decided. And it's based also, the one thing that's really cool about this is that the teachers also identified the two types of standards that they wanted to see in the kids, right? It's because there are usually 4 in the iReady assessments. They said that you had to reach over a certain thing when it came to some specific standards, like Algebra 1 had to be one of them, and iReady does assess that. So this is just good stuff. I'm excited about this. All right, the misconceptions was that we're not doing it through data. No, that's not true. This will continue to be leveled or tiered, not true. And that we're not going to have enough students. Well, our data doesn't say that. We have students now. That's what's exciting. All right, next, please. Just so that you know, every math course, it's an inclusive course, and it's built that way. So let me say this again, it's built that way. If you are an L student, if you're a student who is an English language learner, or even if you need not modifications, but more accommodations, it's meant to be inclusive. This is for everyone. So if you meet those standards, you are welcome to this class, okay? All right, next, please. All right, this is what's in the BHS mathematics department right now. But I asked Katie Whitcomb to help me with this, because this is in the program of studies that got passed by us, right? This is very hard for me to understand, right? So she and I worked on this one. This one next. I'm going to go up to it. This will help you understand. All right. This is what I get excited about. All right. So when you look over here, all the kids come in from grade 6, right? Grade 7, they have 2 courses they can. Grade 7, they have 2 courses. I'm sorry, I'm moving your mic. Bob, I'm touching it. Grade 7, there are 2 courses that you can take, all right? And from there, the pathway will allow you, okay, you can do grade 8, right? It can allow you to, can we?
It's touchscreen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It can allow you to go to grade 8. You can decide, my head may be too big, but Ms. Monaco, can you see what I'm talking about now? Does that
I can see it.
Okay, does that make sense? You can either go to
Got it.
integrated grade 8, or you can go to Algebra 1, right?
Yep.
Right now, the only way for kids to go here, okay, to go here when you're in 9th grade, this is 9th grade, is to take the opt-out.
Right.
But what I wanted to show you is that when we build this pathway, you don't have to skip Algebra 1. Algebra 1 is known as the gatekeeper for calculus. If you don't have a strong foundation for Algebra 1, it's been proven, it's very hard for you to do calculus. We don't want to set up our students for failure. We don't want them to be learning them at summer school or in Russian math. We don't want that.
They'll go out of business.
No, but there's a way now, is what I'm trying to say. This is exciting. There's a way now. And so even if you decide to do Algebra 1, this is if you wish to double up. This is the concurrent option. This is what's occurring right now. But we built it in such a way now that you don't have to double up in order to take pre-calculus.
Right.
All right? So what we've created, and this is already in the programs of study. Do you remember when Katie was saying we were anticipating some group of kids that we couldn't help solve the problem until we got here? We have already created this course, but we're waiting for the kids to fill it in. So even if the kids the year before and this year, if they decide and they don't do well in the opt-out and the parents don't want to do the
parents are going to override, but if they decide they want to have their kids do Algebra 1, they can still take geometry, right, and take this course, which we've created, which is called an Accelerated Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus class. So it covers both Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus, so you don't need to double up. So you could, in essence, take a regular grade 8, I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Take Algebra 1, take geometry, take Accelerated Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus, and then go to Calculus. You don't have to double up anymore, but you could if you wanted to. You could, if you wanted to, take a Pre-Calculus and Statistics if you love math that much. But what we've also taken out here is these are just the courses. They're not honors or CP. Am I? So you can go up and down on levels no matter what. But what we cared about were the blocks. And this is where we're headed.
Lisa, I am sorry to say I understand every single bit of what you're doing as a former math teacher.
Does it make sense
It's
now?
perfect.
Is it, I know it's a lot of like pain for people.
It's
but
perfect.
there's a plan, is what it is, right? To help kids. All right. All right, next, please. And so one of the things is that we need to continue to have clarity about grade level standards, vertical alignment. We need to continue our rigor with power, supporting and remaining standards, and we need to do differentiation when it comes to our professional learning. And we need to have a robust intervention system, and we need to create opportunities for learners who need substantially more, because one of the things that we are finding out when we analyze the data is that there are times in which we're not pushing the rigor enough for kids. So let me say this again. We're not pushing the rigor enough for kids, and we need to do a better job, and we need to work on that. That's what we need to work on. All right, so the next thing, please, one of the other things that we've done is that in this year, we've also worked with our math specialists to help them become more so as coaches, because a lot of our specialists at the elementary school are used more as interventionists, but you know, if you hold that much richness and content and also in pedagogy, you want to spread that love. So how do we help these people, right? Help them help others. So how do we develop more of a coaching model? And that's what we've been working on this year. Next, please. So this is really the timeline. It's just a quick overview of the work that's gone on with the coaching. So there's been lots of little pockets that have been working with math, but one of the pockets that we've worked with math is really working on an impact cycle, especially at the elementary level, to help our math specialists look at how are they coaching folks, especially through the UBD units. Are the coaching cycles effective? Are they moving people along? Are they helping them with teaching all learners? And so there'll be peer observations that are done. I've seen Carrie Fortunato do it. She does it very effectively. She works with a lot of the Francis Wyman math teachers and looking at their curriculum, coaching them, and then giving them their immediate feedback on their interactions and looking at student data. It's pretty powerful. It's really powerful. All right. Next, please, is that we're going to be focusing on 30 more sessions for one-on-one and group coaching and instructional coaching with the math specialists. We're going to continue to work on that. The one thing I wanted to share with you guys is that we're also going to cross over where there's been some landmark training I know that's been done at the high school level. Landmark training is just good training, I think, and taking a look at reading and how does reading also help math. So it's crossing over and taking a look at that as well, too. All right. The next thing that where we need to go is as we're strengthening our Tier 1 math instruction, and we need to continue to strengthen it. We're not there yet. We're going to continue to strengthen it, is we have to start taking a look at next year, and what's already been in the works is taking a look at our multi-tiered systems of support, our Tier 2 and Tier 3, but really taking a deep dive of what does our MTSS system look like academically, what does it look like behaviorally, and what does it look like for our attendance. And so we've already put out some postings for that. I and Dr. Thunder are going to be running the
academic one, and then Chrissy Concession's going to be looking at the behavioral one and running that one and the attendance one, because we don't have the consistency that we need across not only the elementary schools, but also across like the middle school and then leading up to the high school. So that is an area that we need to work on next year, and we're going to start to work on it. And then that's it. Are there any questions?
Your question get answered?
Yes, so for current eighth graders.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go back to the flow chart.
Do you want, which flow chart? Do you want the flow chart of the one that takes you all the way to 12th grade?
Bob's got it, yeah.
All right.
That's perfect. So if you have a current eighth grader, what pathway will they take to get access to calculus by grade 12? How would that work for our current eighth graders?
For our current eighth graders, they could do
Yes.
they could go, current eighth graders, they could go here, right? Then they could, oops.
No touching.
No touching. I'm so sorry. This course is built in to help them. This course, you see where it's this has yet to be put in. That's 25, that's 25, 26. This is waiting when our kids, last year's kids become juniors, this course is coming into fruition. So even if our grade 8 people are here and they don't take the opt-out, they can go Algebra 1, then will lead to geometry. And geometry is that they can take what is called the accelerated Algebra 2 and pre-calculus. It contains both Algebra 2 and pre-calculus, because you have to have pre-calculus before you take calculus. And then from here, there's a line to calculus.
Okay, I had some parents that were concerned about how that would be possible for
The
their
new course.
current eighth graders, so.
It will be, it's already in your program of studies. You guys passed it in Mark's program of study. It hasn't been created because the kids aren't there yet,
Okay,
but it's waiting for the kids.
thank you.
Yes?
It has to wait all the way for the eighth graders? There's no need for it yet?
There's no need for it yet.
Okay.
But when there is a need for it, it already exists. Like when it needs, it's been in the works is what I'm trying to say.
So even sophomores that are in geometry now, they could use that next year,
And
right?
I would have to talk to,
Okay.
I need to look at the numbers. So
Okay.
let me get back to you on
Okay.
that, because I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
Okay, yep.
But I will get back to you on the numbers to see whether or not, because they didn't put it in for next year, so I'm assuming they don't need it yet.
Okay.
But it's in there, right? It's in there as a holding pattern to let you know that this is coming down the pipeline.
And I know the eighth grade parents appreciate this and being able to see what it looks like, and it's a lot of mental gymnastics without this visual, so I appreciate it.
And I really want to thank Katie Wickham in helping me think this out, because the other chart, which is on your program of studies that got passed, that's hard for me to see. This is easier for me to see.
It's a great plan.
Thank you.
And if we publicize this, my only recommendation would be to define what that asterisk is, like to be
Yes.
coming soon or next
Yes.
year.
Yes, no, definitely what's coming in the middle school, like I said, just for parents to want to know, are these two classes, right? Because it would have been unfair for us only to have grade 8 and Algebra 1, because they wouldn't have learned any grade 8 standards. So you have to have this. So the following year, it's going to be these 3 levels.
So this fall, in 2025, 26,
have
all 3 of
these.
those will exist?
No,
No,
not the-
no
not
algebra,
this one and
just this one? Okay,
This one, because
Not the
if you,
Okay.
I'm not going
Alright.
to touch it, but if you
Yeah.
only did this,
okay,
that's not fair for our kids, because they would have only had grade 7
Okay.
and advanced grade 7. They would not have covered all your grade 8
Okay.
standards to be successful in, because you need grade 7 and 8
Yep.
to build into
okay.
Algebra 1.
Yeah, so maybe just put a year
The
right next to the asterisk, so that, I think
Algebra
it
will be
makes
the
sense.
following year.
Yep, okay. So our 6th graders can take Algebra 1 as an 8th grader.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the way that this is built also is that it can go this way too, right? Because one of the things that we did not want to touch yet, because it would open a Pandora's box in this sense, we weren't ready to do it yet. Let's say you all these incoming, really amazing elementary young children who are gung-ho in math, right? we got to start taking a look at grade 6 too. But we didn't want to go there yet. We need it because it would have been, the middle school, it would have been a tomato fest for Lisa Chen. No, it would have been too much for anyone.
Next year.
Yeah, that's fine. Jeremy had a question.
Just a quick clarifying question. There's a lot of information, so I want to make sure I heard correctly. Just one concern, if you can touch on it real quickly, is the entry standards for the 6th and 7th. So the percentiles are greater than 60%, and then some below 50th percentile. While I don't disagree with letting kids enter the pathway, how are we going to ensure that if they continue to struggle, we can catch them? So can they off-board a track they're on and go, not regress, but move to a more appropriate level of math instruction if they're falling behind?
Yes, and that's been built in, and I can show you where, but
I must have missed that.
I don't, and I apologize, I don't see, all it means is that a no domain at early 7 or below 50th percentile, that's just what that is. That's more I-ready language than anything else. What that means is the medium, like the medium range is what it's using. That's using the I-ready. That's what it means. If someone is in the 85 percentile or above, that score in I-ready for 539, it means that they're scoring in mid-8 or late 8.
Okay.
That's what that means, sir. It's taking that and explaining what that means. Now, to your other questions, sir, all this means is that we built pathways. So let's say I'm excited and I think I'm doing really well in grade 6 because I've done really well in grade 6, and I go and I take integrated grade 7 and 8, right? And I do really well halfway, but I'm like, man, I kind of need more time to kind of slow down, right? I have 3 paths. I can either take grade 8, repeat it again. There's nothing wrong. It's grade 8 math. That's what's offered.
Sure.
Or I could do, right, integrated grade 8 in Algebra 1, or because I've learned all of my grade 7 and grade 8 standards, right? I may have not been caught in some area, but I'm a superstar. I knew it. I just didn't want to work hard. I didn't want to do those deeper homework problems, but now I'm ready. I have the time. I can jump into Algebra 1, and I can jump into Algebra 1 only because it's standards. It's standards. It's not half the standards, it's all of the standards.
And then just one final question. So when you were talking about going from 25 to 26 or 26 to 27, it was more towards the end of the show, slideshow. Are there benchmarks built in for Tier 1 to ensure we're fully operationally capable, like we've implemented for Tier 1 that we're trying to do here? What are our benchmarks for success to say, hey, we fully implemented this, we're good, and now we're going to work on the Tier 2, Tier 3, multi-tier support systems, like to ensure we've closed this work out before we start the next segment of it, or is this going to happen concurrently?
It's happening always concurrently. You always start with Tier 1. Because every child, because if you focus on if you only focus on Tier 2 and Tier 3, and you never get what the grade level standards are, you will never catch up. So if I'm a 4th grade child, and my teacher only gives me grade 2 reading materials, and I have to work on grade 2 and grade 3, it doesn't matter. I will never catch up to where I need to be because I will always be behind. And so even if I need some help, I have to have the same level of standards, but I just have different supports to get me there.
Okay.
Very quick.
I have a question in the back. The honors classes at the high school level, there's a lot of shiftment and movement, and I have a daughter at the high school.
Yes, ma'am.
So how are you aligning that with the kids that are in honors and then dropping down because of the testing and the grading? How are we aligning that to support the high school students?
What do you mean by how are we?
I know several parents and several of my friends have their kids started honors and they dropped them down the levels. They dropped them down the level because the testing was off and they went to a lower class because they weren't successful in the honors. And I know you guys push the flex block period times for the kids to get extra help, and then when we get outside tutoring, you tell us not to get the outside tutoring. one time, we weren't even, it's fixed now, but at one time, we weren't even getting the tests, the math tests, for parents to evaluate and review. So the kids that are in honors, like, are you, and I've had this argument, I know several other parents have had this argument, are you looking at the kids that are taking the honors and then dropping down levels because there's multiple kids that are going down a level because of the testing and the bonus questions?
I think we've looked at some of the data, but do you want to bring that back as a data point to look at the movement between the levels?
Yeah,
in the
we
high
have looked at the level, at the movement questions, and I'm happy to answer Ms. Weber's question, but I do believe through the chair that Mr. Sullivan, Mrs. Whitcomb have spent some time with Mrs. Weber in answering that question, but I'm more than happy to take the question back and relook at it again.
You could do that, that would be great.
Yes, I'd be more than happy to do that, and I will then give you a call back, ma'am.
Thank you.
Curriculum or textbooks or pathways to not have the textbooks?
Through the chair, we do have textbooks, and I think that was a question that was raised, and we did answer that at school committee. We do have textbooks, and
That was a question at town meeting.
Town meeting last night, yes.
yes, so that question has been answered, ma'am, with all due respect.
Thank you, through the chair, thank you so much, Dr. Ten. You did a really nice job taking all of our students into consideration and really creating multiple pathways for students to get what they need, and in an inclusive format. And I think you did a fabulous job, and everyone that worked on your team as well. So thank you all for all of your hard work and your dedication to creating an Algebra 1 class in the middle school, and so many options for students to excel in math at
Well,
BHS.
That's very kind of you, but the thanks really goes to a lot of the teachers who sat on the committee, and also to the middle school math teachers who will be working on this. So I applaud them, and I also applaud Cheryl Mantia and also Tim McMahon, who sat on this, and they'll be working with Dr. Thunder on this. So it's just going to be exciting to see where this goes. Thank you.
Lisa, I want to second what she said. I have wanted this for so long. It's like, it's great. I am thrilled with this whole presentation and the mapping that you've done to have these courses come together. The algebra at the 8th grade level was something that I've wanted for such a long time. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank our teachers, because the data shows that our students can do it.
They certainly can.
That's it.
May I just say
Oh,
something?
sure.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to add too that
Just sit-
and you can
sit
just go
down.
on over. No, I also appreciate it. I feel like it was done in such a short period of time. I mean, you really put something solid together and worked and collaborated with everyone. And again, it's easy to follow. I'm sure you're going to show this slide as well as the other one, because again, some people visually look at things differently. But I'm just really impressed with what you were able to put together in such a short period of time.
And again, I want to thank Katie Whitcomb too. So I just want to, it's a team. It's a team approach, but thank you kindly. Oh,
You're up again.
yes. So it's the Journey to CARES.
You can stay there. Stay there.
All right, so in the Journey to CARES, this is just to celebrate what we do. But before I begin the Journey to CARES, for more information, please kindly see the website for the entire presentation. Before we begin the slideshow, I wanted to highlight the amazing work that our BPS teams are accomplishing this month. In the business and finance team, we prepared school committee fiscal year 26 budget book for the May town meeting. Communications team, they streamlined the forms for the opt-out process for parents and sent out the messages to all students, all parents of students involved in those health classes. And just to address that young man's thing, I personally oversaw that. It was not an opt-out, opt-in. It was just saying yes or no, I wish to take this or not. English K through 8 team applying for want to thank Dr. Bonnie Nichols. Even though we're going for the warrant, we are still trying to get as much money from the state. We're applying for the Partnership for Reading Success, PRISM 2 and PRISM 3 grants. PRISM 2, not PRISM, I'm sorry, PRISM 2 supports the implementation of high-quality instructions for pre-K through 3. So if we were to get that grant, we would just return the money back because it's pre-K through 3. And PRISM 3 supports high-quality instructional materials for grades 4 through 12. And we have a better chance with PRISM 3 for grades 6, 7, and 8. Human Resource Team, she assisted the Director of Child Care in recruiting a program administrator. Information Technology Team supported all participating grade levels for taking MCAS. Math K through 5 team, they continue to work on UBD on integrating science and math standards with science curriculum coach and the director of the Science Center. The nursing team collected state numbers for the end-of-year reports. Operation teams presented warrant articles to Ways and Means. The Student Information Office team worked with all elementary schools to schedule kindergarten screenings to take place on May 19th, 20, 21st, 27, 28, and 29, and deliver screening kits to school. Now for our slides. Slide 1, please. Again, a congratulations to the BHS drone team, and we'll be heading to national championships on June the 6th to St. Elsem College. As you can see, teachers are receiving training from Landmark on language-based strategies. There was a BHS visit from the USMass Lowell Spanish-speaking representative to discuss the college experience with our future first-generation college students. Next, and slide 2. As you can see, adult ESL childcare with Carrie Lamprey. The children are building a castle and rocket ship. They're having fun with Rosemary D'Souza and our BHS volunteers, while their parents attended adult ESL classes with Carrie Lamprey. And also on this slide, 32 students ages 4 through 12 participated in an after-school program to develop a love of reading in Guatemala. And just want to give a big thanks. Carrie Lamprey on her vacations will go to Guatemala in there just to volunteer, because a lot of these families are from our families, and so it's to build relationships there. And they have worked to the generosity of multiple BPS donors who purchase books to build the community's first library. And the kids are so grateful for their library books. In the next slide, slide 3, the Director of Family Community Engagement. This is Gloria Watasik. She assisted and celebrated English learner high school students at BHS with contacting them to valuable resources. This is very exciting. We're finalizing the plans for our community-wide kindness celebration in partnership with Help Us. Joyce Delianis, BPS band, will be performing and will recognize 2 talented BHS students whose artwork will be featured on T-shirts and shared across our community as part of the Kindness Initiative. A big shout out to both Julie Conley and Karen Hoyt, who have delivered over 500 plus ladybugs through the communities. And how you get a ladybug is just by being nominated by demonstrating kindness. Thank you to Brendan Egan and the Recreation Department for their support and collaboration in bringing the celebration to life. This will be our first kindness celebration Sunday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the Burlington Town Commons. Director of Science Center, Wendy Pavlicek, for all kindergarten, 3rd, and 4th grade classrooms are building butterfly larvae and houses to hatch, connected with their science units. As you can see there, our Director of Science Center, Wendy Pavlicek, the 2nd grade reservoir field trips are happening at Mill Pond Reservoir. And then finally, Chrissy Concession, who is our Director of Mental Health, attended a 2-day dialectical behavior thinking training with MSMS and BHS counseling staff. This training equips mental health professionals with the skills to implement this evidence-based therapy, which teaches clients skills in mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotional regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness. Next, please, and slide 4. This slide is from Director of Special Education, Christina Ciccolini. You have school adjustment counselors, Jessica Nelson, Brooke Anderson, along with social emotional coach Amy Kucha, hosted another successful coffee with counselors. The goal is to connect parents of students with disabilities to outside community resources. Burlington Recreation Department's therapeutic recreation specialist, Emma Andrus, joined to share about their extensive programming. Next, in slide 5, we want to thank the district math coach, K-5, Carrie Fortunato, and the elementary math specialist for planning the 8th annual Middlesex Matters Tournament on Saturday. It happened on Saturday, May 10th in Memorial Cafetorium. And that Frank Show, a student in Memorial, placed third out of 125 students. Out of 24 teams, Pine Glen placed fifth, middle school placed eighth, Francis Wyman ninth, and Memorial 10th. Next slide. The BHS drone team won third place at the New England Regional STEM ED drone competition at St. Elsom College. Co-captain Matt Overseen earned perfect scores in the final 2 rounds. The team will now participate in the national championships on June 6th through 7th at St. Elsom College, thanks to Leroy Wong, Shireen Tyrell, who's the Director of Career Pathways, and Dennis Villano, who's the Director of Technology Integration. You'll see the names of our students, but what's really neat, and really want to thank Steve Morin and also Jeremy Brooks, and all those people who are on here. They also, through the FLIP internship model, work and mentor these particular students. So it's so wonderful to see our community members in really great engineer programs just really help out our young folks understand the importance of STEM education. So thank you again, Jeremy Brooks and Steve Morin, for your support and mentorship of our students, and to the rest of the adults on there as well, too. And then finally, in our last slide, I just wanted to say, this is May the 4th be with you. Get it? May the 4th be with you. Our BECC friends with educator Lisa Botillo, and wishing Dr. Conti, May the 4th be with you. And again, congratulations to Mark Sullivan, who's the principal of Burlington High School. He's been named the 2025 Massachusetts School Administrator Association High School Principal of the Year out of all of the high school principals, out of all of the secondary principals in the state of Massachusetts. It's quite an honor. Mark has spent 18 years at Burlington High School, leaving an indelible mark to his commitment to student success, innovative programming, and a school culture built on strong relationships. And Dr. Conti is there celebrating Mark tonight. And thank you finally to our town members for passing our operating budget last night and for all of your support. We definitely could not do it without your support and belief in what we're doing.
All right, sorry, close out that. Nicole, finance report.
Thanks. So all of our revolving funds and warrant articles are currently in good standing. And our operating and accommodated accounts, there's no concerns at this time that we will be okay through the end of the year.
Great.
That's all.
Any questions here? No. Okay. I will give the Fox Hill Building Committee update. We've had a number of working groups. I think 3 of us were talking about interior color palette today on Fox Hill. We have a meeting this coming Tuesday, the 20th. No real big updates there. So I'll pass it to Catherine.
Okay, thank you.
Burlington High School.
Yeah, at our last high school meeting, we actually, I guess, pared it down to one choice, AR8.
That was 2 meetings ago.
Huh? What'd you say?
That was 2 meetings ago.
Oh, no, okay, 2 meetings ago. AR8, and so now we're just trying to come up with another possible name for AR8, so anyone has any ideas, please send them to us. Also, our next meeting is on June 12th at 6:30 p.m., and the next community meeting is May 29th at 7 p.m. I think last night at town meeting, I made a mistake, I said June 29th. It's May 29th at 7 p.m., and it's 100% virtual.
Oh. Could you say that date again? I'm sorry.
May 29th.
Is our, instead of May 22nd?
It's not May 22nd. I'm talking about the community
Oh,
meeting.
sorry.
Yes, next community meeting. The next high school meeting is June 12th, 6:30. Community meeting, 7 p.m., virtual.
All right. Facilities update? And transportation, you want to do both?
Nothing new to update in facilities right now. For transportation, again, buses are running consistently, I would say pretty well. I did attend last week in Newton. Beacon ran a roundtable for customers, and it was great to meet with other community members in different towns that are also running Beacon. It wasn't just a meet and greet. People got to air their dirty laundry. If there were any complaints, there was some talk about that, publicly. They got to show a pathway of what's upcoming as far as what's happening with the apps and other applications that they have. They have a portal that they offer to schools. We are participating in that portal now, but new features are coming, like active bus tracking, et cetera, from a desktop level, from administrators, so that they can see where the buses are, any bus complaints, how you put them in, how you make requests, et cetera. So these features are coming down the pipeline. And again, it was just kind of really great to hear, other people had some woes, but also some yays. So it's just great to be part of the conversation.
No, I'm glad that, I know they've prioritized development on certain things. Is there still a mechanism for feedback too? Like, we've provided feedback?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I would still like to see is a better way to notify people of the late buses, because now you can obviously see that the bus isn't hitting you yet, but there's not like a heads up. It hasn't even left the middle school type of heads up. And with at least my experience, the unreliability, I don't trust if it's not coming. I just assume there's something wrong with the app, you know what I mean? So like, we need to get more trust in the app. But I think bus 2 broke down the other day. So when that happens, and I think this should be the bus company's responsibility to like pop up in the app, bus 2 broke down, expect 30-minute delay or whatever, that type of service.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, that was actually the #1 request that seemed to come from other towns, including myself.
Okay, good.
So when they actually got to showing us their schedule, that is on the schedule.
Okay.
That's something that should be coming hopefully by the end of the year, but they're saying by June is the predicted date.
Okay. So for
to
the
actually have
fall.
mass notification if the bus hasn't left the yard.
Okay.
So again, they're working on that.
Okay.
So hopefully they're hearing us and they're hearing other towns and they're saying, let's implement.
Nice.
So.
What other town, like, do we know?
Yeah,
You obviously know who's there.
Yeah, there was Lawrence, there was North Attleboro, a part of Waltham, but not all of Waltham. It wasn't a public school.
Okay.
I sat with somebody from Uxbridge, another town from the Cape.
Okay.
Again, that's just who was in attendance. I
Yep.
didn't meet
Yeah.
every single person, but
I like it. Any other comments? Okay. You good?
that's it for me.
Any other new old business?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a motion, please, that we please approve the Summer Central Program Field Chester to Manchester, New Hampshire on July 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye, 5-0. All set?
We don't need the next one.
No.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Oh,
Don't we need to reconsider?
no, we did that at the meeting on
We
Monday.
did it last night.
Nope. Okay. Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, meeting adjourned.